Hello, everybody. Hello, YouTube. Hello, art history enthusiasts and visual culture aficionados. It's me again, Miss M, and I'm back with yet another video. This time, oh good heavens, I'm gonna do another, what do I call these ridiculous things? Oh yes, I used to call them the coffee break. Maybe I should just keep calling it the coffee break. But this time the coffee break is viewer mail. That's why I'm going to call this one the coffee break. It's going to be viewer mail part 4, as opposed to like coffee break discussing whatever. If I'm going to do a Shining related video, like Shining trivia or info, I'm going to call it a rum break. But like when I'm just like talking and whatever, still going to be coffee breaks. If it's not about The Shining or it's viewer mail, I'll still call it a coffee break. Ugh, I wish I was more organized. But anyway, long time no talk. I was going to say long time no see. No, I haven't talked at you for a while now. And part of that is because I've been busy. Much busier than I thought I would be this month, let me tell you. I wish I was better at managing my time. I wish I was better at just like I wish I had more, there were more hours in a day. How about that? But the last video I did, other than uploading the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, was the Sopranos video where I kind of do a little analysis of the final scene and the symbolism in there. And that was 13 days ago. And wouldn't you know it, I got not a copyright strike, but I got a copyright claim on this one. And of course this one, even though it's in the public domain. Okay, Anno Domini, I wonder if you're listening, because Anno, I think he said in the comments that he has a silent movie channel, and I think you run into this trouble yourself a little bit. Like, there's always somebody claiming a copyright, and it's a movie. This is Dr. Caligari. I put it up here because it's one of my favorite movies, and I think it's over 100 years old. I think it was released back in either 1920 or 1919. I mean, I've seen different sources give different dates, but it's old enough so that it should pretty safely be in the public domain. But no, somebody has to be cute, and this one, I got a copyright claim on this one, the Sopranos analysis one, because of course, that damn song by Journey. Oh, even though, and as if that weren't enough, like I got a copyright claim on my part 9 of the Understanding the Shining series. And so this is, in addition to being pretty freaking busy, and I'm just going to get busier in February. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. But, this one, you all, if you've been riding with me for any amount of time, you know how I do these Shining videos. I don't run the movie. I do screenshots. And I don't run the whole movie. I don't analyze the whole movie all at once. I just analyze 3-minute segments. And I've contested this one. I've definitely contested this one because, like, a blind man could see that I'm not showing the movie. I'm not doing anything that should have any, that should cause any issues with copyright. But, I disputed it, and now I'm waiting. And that's why I've kind of like held off on making videos. I'm like, okay, somebody's fucking with me. I mean, me and my paranoia. I'm like, yeah, somebody's giving me the business, and I don't like it. I don't like the way this smells. I don't like the way it looks. If it was like, if it was some food I found in the refrigerator, I would throw it out. I wouldn't eat it. I'm just suspicious. So here I am, just trying to get my head together. January has been rough. For me personally, I uh I'm not having a horrible time, but I thought I would have more energy in the new year. Uh, I've been working out every day that the gym is open. I think the gym is like closed just Sundays, and that's the day I take off because they're not open on Sundays. Every other day of the week I go. And like you'd think, well, I'm making this video Monday night, January 23rd. Yesterday was the Lunar New Year. We are now entering the year of the rabbit. Um, so you guys, last year was the year of the tiger. So if you had like a lot of upheavals, if you were spending all kinds of money, and like, you were having, it was a very energetic year for you. That's why it was the year of the tiger. And this year is the year of the rabbit. It should be calmer. There should be more prosperity. It shouldn't, like, I don't know if it means you're going to make a lot of money, or maybe like in my case, hopefully just spend a lot less money. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Anyway, um, but yeah, like hopefully this year is going to be a little bit better than last year. As far as like, too much activity last year. This year I'm hoping for like it to be like real mellow. Fingers crossed. For me and for all of you, I wish you all a great year of the rabbit. Um, I don't know if that's like significant to anything like we're studying on this channel, but never mind. So that's one of the reasons. Like I said, I was going to do a video every day in January. Then I got copyright claim, copyright claim, copyright claim, and I said, "Oh fuck this shit! No, somebody's messing with me. Somebody's messing with me. Somebody like if you're a new viewer, by the way, church announcements, returning viewers, thank you for returning. New viewers, thank you for being new. Subscribers, all 331 of you, thank you for subscribing. All of you, wonderful, wonderful viewers and listeners, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you know somebody who would enjoy this particular brand and category of nonsense. And that's my church announcements. But like if you watch the Understanding the Shining video, you know how I do this analysis. I mean, a fool could see that there is absolutely no legitimate reason to do a copyright claim against me. None. Absolutely none whatsoever. So, with that being said, and I've gotten some, maybe not hellacious, but some like out of pocket little comments that you'll see maybe some of them as I go through the comment section in these 5 videos that I have, Shining related videos. So yeah, this is viewer mail, the Shining edition. Is that what I call it? Yeah, the Shining viewer mail. Yeah, part 3. This is part 4. Like, people need to stop. People need to stop. That's got me a little bit down too. Like, not terribly, but like, I can't believe there are people out there who have the nerve to just criticize somebody and like, what are you doing? If you have your own ideas about whatever, like anybody can start a YouTube channel. I mean, literally anybody can start a YouTube channel and you can make videos in your own special way for your own special reason. I mean, I did it. If I could do it, anybody can do it. Really. And you can do an analysis of whatever and put forth your own ideas and hopefully you won't get rude commenters like I'm getting, and people, in my opinion, my paranoid like over analysis of stuff. Like I really think people just don't like that I'm doing the Shining analysis the way that I'm doing it, for whatever reason. Like I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody. Not even close. I'm not trying to claim that I'm original or even interesting. I'm just putting forth my own ideas. And if I know that I read something somewhere, I will tell you. I mean, you should know by now. I will tell you, like, yeah, what I just told you, I read that somewhere. I read it on a blog. I read it here. I read it there. I watched a documentary or something. I will tell you that's not my own original idea. I found it or heard it somewhere or read it somewhere years ago. in a place that's really not accessible anymore in some cases. And I did a little digging, rabbit hole. Speaking of the year of the rabbit, went down the rabbit hole with regard to like this community. This it's not an official community. There's no like, club meetings or anything. But there is like a community of shiners, that's what I call us, that, we're crazy nuts about this movie, and we know there's something in there that is waiting to be unlocked, right? And there's always these like naysayers, these haters, these people who, again, believe that it is their responsibility, it is their job to police what people say or do, or even comments, even as something as ridiculous as comments like under videos, or what is that thing called, like Reddit or whatever. Jesus Christ. And those same people that are so quick to judge and to criticize everybody else for having an idea, they're pretty blatant plagiarists. I'm not going to name any names, but yeah, I think you know what I mean. And that's why I'm going to get a little bit stricter about the comments that I do and don't allow. I've been turning this over and over and over in my head. And I love doing these videos, not just because I love doing videos and I love thinking about this subject and putting my idea, or maybe not my idea, but like, doing a John Madden of like every frame of The Shining. That's been something I've been wanting to do for a while, and YouTube, thank you, YouTube, has made it possible for me to do that. It's getting on my freaking nerves a little bit. So I'm gonna start being really like a lot more strict about the comments that I let through and the comments that I don't let through. If you're abusive, if you say ridiculous shit, you're getting deleted. Period. If I see something that looks spammy, bye. I don't have time for it. Thankfully, in my comment section and under my Shining videos, people are more or less respectful, which is why I'm not like really in my feelings about anything regarding the Shining comments. There are some people that are just rude. You'll see it. But this is the last like Shining video Shining viewer mail video I did, part 3. And like I said, this is part 4 today. So let me just kick this off and get started. I have 26 comments under this video, and this was, how long ago? Long time, 2 months ago. Juzu writes, the beginning before the interview, the beginning before the interview is Jack driving to the hotel. After the interview, when the family is in the car, they are driving away from the hotel. The same thing happens constantly. People coming in saying, bye, Ullman. People leaving with luggage while Jack is answering that his luggage has been brought in. Man taking rug upstairs, and right after that, the rug is being brought downstairs. These are good observations, Juzu. One reason is to point that this film is being meant to see from both directions. Interesting. Also from both directions at once superimposed, as it reveals just massive amounts of important evidence for all the subtext of this film. Okay. All right. The Shining is mirror form in many ways. Shots are mirrored, camera movements are mirrored, and these are thematically connected usually. All movements in the maze happen with Danny's tricycle rides. Even all the places in the film are mirrored in some ways, like the lobby and Colorado Lounge, and kind of the lobby and Gold Room. The kitchen seems to be in the other end of the hotel when Wendy comes from making breakfast, and when Jack is coming from the kitchen to kill Halloran. In the film, different time periods are mirrored. It's the 1910s in the Gold Room. This is interesting. This is really interesting. It's the 1910s in the Gold Room, also the 1920s, simultaneously as the years 1912 and things that happen after 1913 are connected with the Gold Room. The end photo should be understood as 1912 and 1921 for both of these subtexts, and we see the blood elevator 3 times for 3 different subtexts, one connected to that 1912. The Shining equals English slang, meaning something that has been pissed over, fake, false, lied, event. Oh, I'm going to have to look that up. I'll take your word for it, Juzu, but I'm still, oh my goodness. I never thought to look this up as a slang term. I mean, I just took the word shining as just, the dictionary definition of the word, and like that was that. I figure something that shines is something that either emits or reflects light. Oh, this is interesting. Now, Juzu, I have heard of there's a phrase in American English. I don't know if they say it in a place also like, the United Kingdom or Australia or wherever, but when you take a shine to somebody, that means you like them. That's another like slang use of the word shine or shining. It's like when somebody says, oh, so-and-so has taken a shine to that person, it means they like them. But there's also, I'm going to look this up, the meaning that something has been pissed over, fake, false, lied, event. Thus, the film has yellow poster, and because of this name, Stanley had all these subtexts, though many of them are all in the films from 2001 onward, some even before that, but there's more than in other of his films based on my research. Okay, this is really interesting. This is a really interesting comment, and this is why one of the reasons why I love doing these videos. People, if you don't want to make your own videos, I understand. This shit takes time, but you can still contribute something and put it under my video. You do your comment, and people will, maybe come look at my video, and that's also the fun part of YouTube, the comments section. You can scroll down, read through the comments, and bounce ideas off of each other and what have you. I love that. I really do. And I said to Juzu, your comment is awesome. It makes me want to do another viewer mail video. And here I am finally, after a month ago? Lord. And Juzu says, I have been locked within the Overlook's mazes forever and ever. Yeah, me too, Juzu. And one morning, and one mirroring, I forgot the obvious one, the hotel and the maze. Yes, something's going on. Mirrors are important. Now, I don't know if Dr. Luke is listening. Dr. Luke is the wonderful guy that I addressed when I was making my Carl Jung would never. Carl Jung, so not Jung. Carl Jung would never. And I don't know psychology. I don't know philosophy like that. I've read things here and there because it was just required of me for my education. But that wasn't the main focus of my education, philosophy or psychology. The main focus of my education was, looking at pictures, hint, hint. But you do need to read a little bit of philosophy, or a little bit of psychology and skim over it. And what Juzu is talking about here is the mirrors. And that's why I'm putting this out to anybody, but of course I address Dr. Luke. Is this maybe like, I remember in college, way back when, learning about something called the mirror stage oh, go away. The mirror stage or the mirror phase of development for a child, where there's like a certain age or a certain point where a little baby, as they're growing and developing, there's a certain point where they finally realize that they're looking at themselves when they're looking into a mirror, as opposed to not knowing that they're looking at a reflection of their own likeness. Or whatever. I don't know if that has anything to do with any of this, but I'm just kind of putting it out there because Juzu makes a really good point about mirrors. Are these mirrors? Are we talking about like I said, the mirror stage or phase of development, or are we talking about like parallel universes? You know what I mean? Because, like, everything in the mirror that you look at is like, the room or the place that surrounds you, but in the mirror, everything's backwards. I don't know. I don't know. And that might even, like, say something about, like, Danny walking backwards when he's making his way out of the maze after luring his father in later in the movie. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, John. John. You. And again, John's comments are here. If you want to look at them, go right on ahead. I don't have that kind of time because, look, it's already 20 minutes and I barely got through one comment. So, John, thank you for your contributions. Anno Domini 1991. Project Moon 13 is wrong. I just checked. Jack says daughter's not daughter, and still don't know why he says he saw Grady's picture in the newspaper, since we're led to believe he only learned the story from Ullman. This is interesting. I don't know. Project Moon 13. Wait. Who's Project Moon 13? Did I miss something? Did somebody delete their comment? Oh no. Lord. Listen, I don't remember. I just don't remember. But you know what? Never mind. I think I can vaguely recall like what we're talking about here. Oh, yeah, it looks like somebody deleted their comment. Doesn't matter. Grady's picture and then there's I think I covered it in one of these videos. Where? I don't know which one. Is my rum break? Did you know about the ray gun? I saw it somewhere. Did I do it here? I just don't know. But there's a thing on one of the blogs that I looked at with, like, behind the scenes Polaroid photographs of the show, where, like, there's this big ass book of newspaper clippings on like Jack's desk in the Colorado lounge. Like, and I wrote that here. There's a big book of newspaper clippings on his desk in the Colorado lounge. So maybe he means those newspapers. But you bring up a very good point. Jack was told the story by Ullman, and Wendy probably got the story from Jack secondhand. Maybe she looked at the news clipping book too. Just a thought. I can't be sure. So there's, like, we need to keep an eye on that book. Like, why is it there? Obviously, like, they abandoned, like, a certain, like, potential story idea or scene idea or plot idea. But something to do with that book of newspaper clippings. I don't know. I just don't know. Chuck. Oh yeah, I addressed Chuck in this video. That damn Chuck. Oh, haven't heard from him in a while. Ever since. But Chuck is a gatekeeper for all the movies. What a champ. Exactly, Anno. Like, yeah, never forget that you can only have an opinion if people like him tell you it's okay. That's how it feels anyway. Like, you can't have an idea. You can't, like this idiot Chuck. In one of my, he was one, maybe I need to block his ass. Maybe he's the reason I'm getting all these copyright claims. You never know. You just never know. But, like, yeah, no, you can't have an idea because Chuck works in the movie industry, and everybody who works in the movie industry has the same opinion about every single last fucking thing. And you can't analyze a movie and have fun and whatever. No, that's, like, strictly verboten. Don't do that because that's not your place and you don't know what you're getting into. And Chuck and anybody else like Chuck, like, please remain seated. Ain't nobody got time for your nonsense. All right, if you want to do your own videos about whatever you want to do them about, yeah, like, what are you waiting for? Shit. Anyway, thank you, Anno. Thank you so much. Anno Domini again. The Man Who Laughs Last is with Conrad Veidt, not Lon Chaney. That's exactly right. And I adore Conrad Veidt, and hello skis. That's one of the reasons I put the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari here, right? Oh, and here's John. Uh, you know what, John? This is interesting. Conrad Veidt links to Harlan's famous movie making. Uncle Veidt, Harlan, really? How does... No, wait a minute, John. This doesn't sound right to me. Conrad Veidt is Veidt is his last name, not his first name. So, like, a person with the same last and first name can't be related. It's just impossible. At least, like, the way we do things, as far as I know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what to think about this one, but Exorcist reviews. I hope you're watching. Anyway, Tancred. Hello, Tancred. I hope you're doing great. And, you know, there's like a couple of people I've made, you know, kind of a connection, just like, you know, friendly connection with people. Tancred is one of them. Anno Domini is another. I think Dr. Luke as well. Who else? Is there somebody else? There's some people who've only commented like once or twice. Others, Exorcist reviews, definitely. And here's Tancred. I need to check your channel again to see if like there's any goodies over there I missed. Chuck is a special case. I love how these people say this stuff has no meaning and need to tell us that, even though this coded messages and filming have been around for a very long time. Yep, exactly. An example is the opening of a flower during the Hays Code was used to symbolize sex. Hello, Tancred. That is fascinating. And I did not know that. I didn't know that, but that is absolutely fascinating. And makes sense. It makes sense. It totally makes sense. Okay. You stopped watching all the Shelley... Yeah. I stopped... Tancred writes, I stopped watching all the Shelley Duvall mistreatment videos because they are still playing the telephone game. They sure are. They sure are. And I've seen a couple of them pop up in my like feed thing. And it's like, wow, why? Why? For those of you who don't know, Tancred does a pretty good video outlining how and why the abuse allegations against Shelley Duvall, that she was mistreated or abused or whatever on the set of The Shining, and this is all kind of culminated in her appearance on the Dr. Phil show, and people are just trying to make her look crazy. And like when you really take a closer look at it, she's not. She's not crazy, and she doesn't ever really... I don't think she ever says those words out of her own mouth, that she was mistreated on the set of The Shining. And Vivian Kubrick has gone on record saying that, like, the way people have treated her and the narrative that people are trying to spin, the totally false narrative that people are trying to spin about her life, her like whatever situations she's got going on, and her time working as an actress on The Shining. Like, these are all lies. These are all malicious, horrible lies. And, like, they're trying to make her look bad, and by extension, Stanley Kubrick look bad. Like, what's going on? What's going on? Why are people going for Stanley's throat and going for Shelley's throat? Like, not okay. Really not okay. And at Tancred, I actually found a really, really cute video that I'm going to put up in my community tab, so keep an eye out for that one. Yeah, so you stopped watching all the stuff. Fact, Stanley Kubrick didn't mistreat Shelley Duvall. It is pretty much a fact, yes. All these stories starting to come out when Shelley Duvall retires in 2002, over 20 years after making The Shining, and she was working as a producer in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, she had a pretty good career. Like, I don't know if people know this, and she's not like a really, really big name, like, as far... I mean, she is and she isn't. Like, there's, like, from that generation of actresses, I think, like, the biggest names are like Meryl Streep or somebody like Diane Keaton or whatever. And Shelley Duvall, as awesome as she was, she's very underrated. She's very underrated. Um, she's and she was extremely like in demand at the time when she was younger. Yeah, she was working as a producer. And like Tankard says here, these stories um, started popping up in 2002. Like, that was well over 20 years after The Shining was made. Why did people wait that long? Because Stanley Kubrick was still alive, Tankard. That's one aspect of it. Like, Stanley Kubrick died in, when? Was it 1999 or the year 2000? I'm not sure. Like, right after Eyes Wide Shut was released, or right before, or I don't know. But, like, that's when Stanley Kubrick died. And, you know, what an interesting coincidence. Like, a couple of years uh, after he dies, then people start going in on Shelley. Really? They couldn't do that while he was still alive, and he could like defend himself. They're going in on Shelley, saying she's not okay in the head and she was mistreated by Stanley Kubrick. Why didn't they do that while Stanley Kubrick was still alive, to be able to actually defend himself? Like Vivian, yeah, she can defend her father, and I'm sure she has, but like it's still not the same as him being around to actually firsthand um, contradict people's accounts or people's like weird. I don't even know what to call them. Are they conspiracy theories, or are these people just petty, messy um, gossip hounds? I don't know. I don't know. But yes, thank you. Oh no, I'm pleased that her gotten out of retirement. She'll be. Oh, she's gonna be in a horror film. Oh, I gotta take a look. I gotta take a look. Great, great video. Happy to thank you so much, Tankard. Yeah, simply, yeah, like and I reply to him. It's absolutely astounding how people like him simply ignore things like the study of symbolism or iconography and folklore and art history. Like, yeah, those are totally things, Chuck. I wonder if he's ever heard of the Arnolfini portrait. I doubt it. Or typology in the Bible. Shaking my damn head. Yep. People like him are too narrow-minded. This is Tankard again. People like him are too narrow-minded, and if he's an actual filmmaker, he's a lazy one. Yep. I really, truly believe so. I guess Hitchcock is such budget constraints that he needed to make an appearance in his films. Hello. Exactly. Exactly. Like, that's what Tankard is saying. Like, Alfred Hitchcock had a thing where I think, is it every last one of his films or just a couple? But there's like, it's notable that he would do a little cameo in his movies as like an extra, I guess. And they would make sure to get a shot of him, like, off to the side or something. But it was obviously him. You just blink and you miss it kind of thing. And yeah, like Alfred Hitchcock, like Tankard is saying that, oh, the budget must have been so low on these Hitchcock movies that Alfred had to actually, work as an extra or a stand-in on his own movie. Yeah, right. That's just not, doesn't make sense, does it? Still, I guess Steven Spielberg was forced to film Schindler's List. Hello. You're making some good points here. Forced to film Schindler's List, a 1993 movie in black and white because of compromise. Yeah. And Stanley Kubrick is so incompetent of a film director, he cannot get the character name Grady right. Tankard. This is pure gold. I know I probably read this at the time, 2 months ago, but like, again, my brain has been on the fritz and I've been a little too busy lately, but I'm so glad I did this video today. I want everybody to look at this comment. You make 3 very, very good points in this one comment, like the Hitchcock thing, the black and white thing with Schindler's List. Come on. And by the way, I think Steven Spielberg, I'm not going to say he was a protege of Stanley Kubrick, but I do know that they were acquainted, and I think, again, was it, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, I'm probably wrong, but like, was it Stanley Kubrick who was gonna do or direct the movie AI, artificial intelligence, and then like did Steven not Steven yeah Steven yeah Steven Spielberg like took over after Kubrick's death? I don't know. I think I read that somewhere or heard it somewhere, but I don't know the source because I read a little too much. Um, and I can't like pin down where I read that or who wrote that or whatever. But yeah, so Steven Spielberg probably learned a lot from studying Kubrick, and they probably both learned a lot from studying Hitchcock. So there's some that, but again, three very, very good points, Tancred. Yeah. Um, People don't think about these things. For some reason, they think that, like, what's his face? Chuck said, oh, they're there just 'cause. Like, they just happen to have that color of sofa available, red, like in the gold room. They just happen to have red sofas. Like, no big deal. There's nothing to, you're reading too much into it. It's disturbing. Get the fuck on, Chuck. Get the fuck on. Juzu, hello again, Juzu. The making of the Shining documentary film, like all the interviews Kubrick actors give, are scripted. You think so? I'm genuinely curious. Like, you think that the behind the scenes documentary, like, I think it was Vivian who did that. Like, she was the one filming everything and whatever. Like, you really think that was like scripted or at least like quote unquote staged? I don't know what to think, personally. I don't. But, I'm open to different ideas. I think Kubrick actually wanted the image to be out because it didn't bother him what people think of him personally, and that part links Stanley to Jack, which is important. Okay. All right. The making of The Shining is made as a key. Most of the subtext have confirmers in the documentary. Oh. Also, I'm pretty sure Room 237 was mostly scripted, as it has the same sort of hinting of actual subtext that are not really discussed but are hinted. At least some of the people in it are certainly part of or trying to make that as the key for The Shining and Kubrick in general. Okay. I don't know about Room 237 because I've seen it. I've seen it, and it's very interesting, but I don't know how or why it could like be. I sound like a complete Californian. Like I keep using the word like a lot. I'm sorry about that. Habit. Um, Room 237, the documentary. I don't see how that could be connected to The Shining, or like, yeah, kind of an offshoot of The Shining. I don't know. Maybe the behind the scenes documentary, just because a Kubrick made it, whether it was Stanley or Vivian, doesn't matter. But like an actual Kubrick made it. So, and I have no way of confirming this, but I would not be surprised if Stanley definitely guided Vivian when she was making that documentary or what have you. I don't know. But this is interesting, Juzu. Thank you, and gives me a lot to think about. Unfortunately, that's what I've been doing, y'all. That's what I've been doing. I've been getting on the machine at the gym like every day, the elliptical trainer, and I spend at least an hour on there every day. Sometimes an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours if I can muster the strength. And I just think about shit. I just put on my music and I think about shit. And I'm going to be thinking about this. Thank you, Juzu. Let me go on to the next video. Actually, let me take a little coffee break of my own. And by the way, I hope you got yourself a little something to drink while you're listening to this. A coffee, a tea, soda, whatever you're into. And did I sort by newest? Yeah, I did. We're going to get into this one. Yep. Thank you. We're going to get first. I'm going to have a little something. I'm just sort of surveying how much I have to reply to when I get back. Oh, it's Boxy. Hello, Senor Boxy. Gonna get back from my coffee break and like get into it. This is an interesting one. What is this? Bill and Jack. Oh yeah, this is the one where I talk about Kill Bill and The Shining. So Bill, we don't know his last name, and Jack Torrance, we shall see. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna go get a little something. Been talking for 40 minutes. Need a little tiny break. We'll get back soon. Sit tight. And I'm back. Had a nice little break. Like I said, y'all, get you a cup of coffee because it's gonna be a long one. And this is, I've moved on to this next one. Coffee break, Bill and Jack, concerning The Shining and Kill Bill. Who's the villain? I think, I have a pretty good idea in my head, y'all. Y'all let me know if you agree with any of it or don't. So I've got a couple of comments here, a couple of interesting ones. Let's see. Yeah, definitely gonna look at these, all of them. How many are there? There should say up here. Show this. 27. Okay, that's not bad. So this first one is also the newest one from 2 weeks ago. This individual, won't even say his name, besides talking about yourself, at least 9 minutes before you start to talk about the movie, you scarcely analyze, but most of the time describing things that anyone can see. If you challenge such a great and complex movie, you have to be prepared to go deep in the understanding of the symbols. Okay. I guess it is not an easy task, but as you are trying to do it well. Listen, buddy. Did you actually watch this video? Did you? Did you hear anything I have to say? And by the way, what was I talking about with regard to myself? What was I talking about? For the first 9 minutes, I was talking about myself. Well, you know why I get to do that? 'Cause it's my channel. That's why I get to do that. You can do that on your own channel. You sure can. And I'm not challenging anything. What? And I'm kind of taking a better look at this. The first time I read this, I was like, really? Seriously? But you scarcely analyze, but most of the time describe things that anyone can see. Like you really don't know what a formal analysis is, do you, buddy? Oh, I'll just say his ridiculous name, Lionel. Yeah, you don't know, what that is, do you? I guess not. And I'm not challenging either of the movies. I like both of them. I mean, a challenge implies that I don't agree with whatever the filmmaker is doing, and I think they did it wrong, and I'm countering whatever they're doing with... No, I'm not challenging anybody. I'm not challenging Stanley Kubrick. I'm not challenging Quentin Tarantino. I'm not challenging anything. I'm just, putting forth my own ideas, my own thoughts. Yeah, I'm doing an analysis of The Shining in particular, almost frame by frame. Not quite, but almost. And I point out the stuff that's there. Why do I do that, Lionel? Why do I do that? Because when people are watching this movie, they don't have the time to pause every second of every scene or whatever and take a really good look. Take a really, 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 really good look at the set, at the furniture, at the objects in the room, at the people, the actors, and what they're wearing, or, the colors, etc., and so on and so forth. That's why I'm doing that. And the basis of a good Shining analysis is people do zero in on an object, an item, a thing, or just a color even, or the use of light, or whatever, and then they build an argument off of just that. Just that. And I know this might sound kind of far out to you, Lionel, but that's what a lot of people do, especially when they're writing, a thesis, a dissertation, or any kind of book or essay or paper that's analytical and trying to figure something out about, in this instance, what I'm talking about, a work of art or a movie. One single solitary object, item, thing, like the rubber ducky in the apartment that the Torrances lived in before they moved to the hotel. That rubber ducky. And the fact that it jumps from the bathtub to the windowsill in Danny's room, it doesn't seem like much, does it? But it could mean a whole hell of a lot. It could unlock something about the movie, or about what the filmmaker, in this case Stanley Kubrick, is trying to convey to the viewer and or listener. All right? Just that one little item, the rubber ducky. Okay? And I'm not the first person who's done this. I'm doing it in my own special way. I'm talking through the frame-by-frame analysis of the 3-minute segments of the movie. That's how I'm doing it. That's how I've chosen to do it. Other people do it different ways. And they're free to do that. And so am I. It's not an easy task. It's not really all that difficult, especially if you enjoy it. And I am having fun. I wish I had more time. Like, I wish, yes, sometimes, not every day, but I wish I could be one of those people. One of those people who doesn't have a job and, they seem to lead a life of leisure. And they can just make videos every day and be on social media all day long and, tweet all day or post pictures to IG or stories or whatever and post, several YouTube videos a day and, whatever else they're into, like Pinterest, Facebook, what's the other one? I forget which one. Like TikTok, that's the big one now. Like, that's their job. They do that all day long, and they make money doing that. That's their job. I can't do that. I can't do that. I have a job, I have a life, I have responsibilities. This is my hobby. That's why it takes me so long to muster up the energy and the strength and the time, to find the time to do my little PowerPoint presentations and talk them through. And then, upload it to YouTube or whatever. If you don't like it, please don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Go away and never ever come back. I won't miss you. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say about this. Oh, the nerve. The nerve. John Kim. Hey, John. Juzu. Hello, Juzu. Let's see here. Juzu writes, Kubrick has all the impossible physics. Interesting. All the inconsistencies of the Apollo mission, how it was faked, what methods they were using, and even pointing how to prove it in The Shining. But the funny thing is that pretty much all of these are already in The Clockwork Orange. Interesting. Where the Droogs are the astronauts, where they meet in the Moon Theater to fight Billy Boyd's gang, where Alex kicks the Coke bottle, which is seen by many in the Apollo footage broadcasted through TV. Well, okay, you're on to some interesting stuff, Juzu. Interesting. When they drive with Durango 95 / Saturn V rocket with false physics all over, hitting Van Allen belt truck, having the shitty projection like the moon footage and the same colors, while Stanley could have done much better without any budget. The rocket car having way too much payload, which is the reason why manned missions were impossible. The production equipment reflects from the hood, just like it does from the blackness of space, a 3M Scotch-Light canvas of Apollo footage. Okay. I've heard this, yeah. I've heard of Jay Weidner, yes. Huge amount of the dialogue is coded dialogue that makes sense if you think Alex is a bad astronaut and the authorities are the NASA and U.S. government. Interesting. Alex's brainwashing session in the theater is about the Apollo footage. It was almost like a Hollywood production. You could hear the breathing. And there's impossible windows in Alex's home, her parents' bedroom, where we have many mannequins on the window, staged like we have the eagle in The Shining, Scotch-Light canvas wall in the living room, etc. Eyes Wide Shut premiere was forced by Kubrick to be 7/16/99 at the 30-year mark of Apollo 11. I don't know if Kubrick actually filmed the footage, or if he did some of the missions, or was the technical help for the process, but as the missions were faked 100%, then it becomes almost impossible to believe they wouldn't use him in some way. And say no to Men in Black, and you get JFK treatment, and his assassination is hidden in almost every Kubrick film, but especially in The Shining and Full Metal Jacket, though JFK is part of Kubrickon since Dr. Strangelove. Oh, wow. This is a lot. And it's, like I said, it's going to give me a lot to think about. It really, really will. Hey, John, check out Juzu's comment. I've heard a version of more or less all of this before, and I still don't know what to think. I'm not saying that just because I'm trying to keep my channel neutral or whatever. Personally, like, at one point, I was like totally on board with all of this that Juzu is writing. And then at another point, like later on, I'm like, wait a minute. What if this is just one layer of something? Or it's supposed to lead to something else? I'm not sure. We have MF here. Headphones are essential when watching The Shining, especially for the first 30 minutes. I think you're right. I really do think you're right, MF. The Sean Report first got my attention. Yeah, I love that thing. But there are many more instances of strange voices and noises that don't match the scene and are intentional. The way Ullman says isolation during the interview, a whispering voice when Halloran says to Wendy, I probably heard you call him that regarding calling Danny Doc. The creepiest one is when Jack is about to kiss the woman. As she raises her hands from Jack's waist up to his shoulders, a child's voice says, Mommy. Uh-oh. It also seems to me that while Halloran is talking to Danny, a voice says they all shine. Any thoughts? Oh, wow. I want to test this out on my own. So what I'm going to do, I guess I wish there were more hours in a day. I really do. And more hours that I could dedicate to my YouTube pursuits. But I would love to take your comment and kind of put my headphones on, put the volume on really high, and kind of just listen for all the stuff that you list here, because this is very interesting. Because people have talked about the Schoen Report. People know about the Schoen Report. And I kind of want to maybe I should do a video about that too. And see whether or not it matches up. In addition to what you're talking about here, MF, the isolation comment, the doc thing. I already kind of covered the doc thing in my part 9, but there might be more. There's always more. And that this one, the last one you're talking about, oh Lord. I will check, and I will report back. I want to do that video, listening for the Schoen, to testing out whether the Schoen Report, whether or not I hear the word Schoen in my copy of the movie, with my headphones on. And I also want to, I already did a video about, rum. Where is it? Yeah. What the hell is red rum? And I talked about the ray gun too. But I want to do a video about non-alcoholic beverages in The Shining, like Coca-Cola, like coffee, like 7-Up. You see 7-Up in the movie, no, but I've never seen, that I recall, anybody drinking 7-Up. You just see crates of it or stacks of it in the kitchen, in the hallway. But I never see anybody drinking no 7-Up. Which, hold up, somebody, was it, I think it was Juzu. Juzu was talking about the 1921 black and white photo of Jack at the end of the movie. And that's supposed to be 1921. And Juzu said, well, 21 is, a mirror of the 12. I think I need to check. I need to check because I'm gonna do a video when I get it when I get around to it. I'm gonna do a video about the non-alcoholic beverages in the movie. 7-Up is one of them. 7-Up was invented. Oof, I don't want to tell a lie, but I'm gonna check this date. But I think 7-Up was invented in 1921. Okay, and it contained, just like allegedly Coca-Cola contained cocaine, 7-Up contained lithium. Tankard. Tankard has got a theory like going on that it's not my place to reveal, but like the lithium thing in the 7-Up might might be a key. So this is for Tankard specifically. So yeah, you can look it up yourself, Tankard. And Tankard does a very cute video on his channel about Mellow Yellow. So soft drinks, like, are a thing. My favorite is Coca-Cola. I don't know why. I'm just a traditionalist. 7-Up was, especially if you're raised by parents who are not from the United States, for some reason you're going to have a lot of 7-Up in the house, at least in the 80s. Anyway, but yeah, 7-Up was, I'm pretty sure it was the 1920s, if not specifically 1921, and I know for sure that, yes, 7-Up had lithium in it. I mean, they cut that out after, I don't know when, but they cut it out. But yeah, originally, there was lithium in the 7-Up. So MF brings up some interesting points here. I'm going to have to go through that, do like my review of the Schoen theory, plus a video about non-alcoholic beverages. And there are probably more. Like, there's milk, and there's ordinary white milk, and then there's chocolate milk. No, I got to do that video, and I will. Hello again, John. Boxy. Hello, Boxy. Hey, Miss M. Regarding the ball being rolled towards Danny while he is playing in the hallway, I do not think Danny played accidentally near room 237. Danny is afraid of room 237. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, especially, that conversation, which I hope I get to that conversation in part 10. I don't know if that's going to be in that 3-minute segment, but we're going to see. We'll see when I get to it. Danny is afraid of room 237. He's the one who asks Halloran about it. And then Halloran tells him to stay out. But he goes over there anyway. Interesting. Anyway, Boxy continues. I currently tend to think Danny is playing near room 237 because he knows his mom is nearby. In other words, in room 237. I think he is calling his mom, who is in room 237, rather than asking, is it her? Yeah, I think that might be it too. But, when I review the footage, we shall see. We shall see whether or not my opinion changes, because I have learned, excuse me, I have learned with this movie, like, whatever opinion you have about it, don't just, like, be open to new information or new perspectives or whatever, because like rigid thinking, it's not my thing anymore. You think he's calling his mom, okay? And I think Stanley did confess in quotes, his involvement in faking Apollo moon landing. I think Apollo 11 rocket on Danny's t-shirt in the beginning of the hallway scene was among Danny's toys. The fire engine, and similar things that should surround a real rocket. Interesting. Okay, I'm not totally going to discount the Apollo 11 thing, even though Vivian Kubrick has gone on record and said, no, that's not what my father was trying to do. But at the same time, like one of my commenters was like, well, of course she would deny that. I don't know. I still don't know what to think. I'm open to ideas. That's what I'm saying. Excuse me. I'm adjusting in my chair. It is cold. I've got a blanket over me. I think Stanley would not have written Apollo 11 on Danny's shirt if he did not want to say anything related to Apollo 11. That's a good point. It means something. Okay? It means something. Boxy, because they could, I mean, with the costume designers and like the stuff that they could have put Danny in, and Wendy and Jack, as far as the wardrobe or the costumes, like they made very specific choices. Like I said when I was doing an earlier parts of the Understanding the Shining series, like they put Wendy in that outfit for a reason, in my opinion, because it makes her look almost exactly like Goofy. Okay? Like they could have chosen any other colors, any other like outfit. No, they chose that one. They wanted to make a visual connection between Wendy and the Goofy doll in Danny's room. Period. So like the Apollo 11 sweater, something is going on. Something is definitely going on. I don't know exactly what it is, but Boxy writes, if we use Occam's razor, I think this should be the conclusion. So there's a connection between Danny's sweater and Apollo 11. I, I'm open to it, but I need to think about it for a little while. As for Wendy, she probably has hallucinations. In that scene approaching the end of the movie where Wendy is walking through the apartment, planning to leave the hotel, there is no reflection of her in the mirror. Moreover, there is no lamp in the mirror, but there is a lamp which is on in Wendy's reality. I know you will pay close attention to this when you reach analyzing that part of the movie. I sure will. The more we analyze The Shining, the more I realize how big genius Stanley was. Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to the new The Shining installment. Greetings be. Thank you so much, Boxy. I appreciate your comments so much, and you're giving me so much to think about. I'm gonna pay special attention to that scene when we get to it. Because you're right, something is going on. Is Stanley confessing, or another? That's definitely one possibility. Another possibility is he's using the Apollo 11 rocket on the sweater as a way to spark the viewer's unconscious mind regarding something else. That is what I will explore, yes, when we get to that part of the movie. But yeah, Wendy, Lord, this Wendy. Who knew? Like, who knew that? Like, because people don't really pay a whole lot of attention to Wendy, you know? Like, yeah, there's that video that talks about Wendy at length, but they only scratch the surface. And like I've intimated in my former viewer mail videos, or my former Shining videos that are not part of the Understanding the Shining series, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of plagiarism. I said it. I've said it already in this video. Here I am saying it again. I don't know if I should do a video about that. We shall see. Anyway, thank you, Boxy. I appreciate your comments always. Anno, Domini, what if Beatrice is crazy like Wendy? Is also crazy like Wendy? Oh my God! and I used like 3 emojis to respond to that. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think about this. I mean, Anno, if Beatrix is crazy like Wendy, oh my God, I hope not. I hope not. It's always a possibility, like I wrote here, but I really hope not. I think something different is going on in The Shining and Kill Bill. I think Kill Bill is more like a fairy tale, or more like an allegory. It's than The Shining. At least The Shining doesn't seem like an allegory the way Kill Bill does to me. But I'm doing this video is making me want to do more Kill Bill, more Shining, more Hunter Biden, more art analysis videos. Like the next artist I want to tackle is Salvador Dali. So stay tuned, y'all. But yeah, I don't know. Whew. No, I don't. For right now, I don't think Beatrix is crazy because I think she's a character like similar to Cinderella or Snow White or Sleeping Beauty, which, like I said, she was in a coma for 4 years. Definitely Sleeping Beauty. Oh, Lord. Anno, thank you so much for this comment. You just sparked something in my brain about Kill Bill. Beatrix is Sleeping Beauty. She wakes up from a 4-year coma. And what awakes her? Somebody trying to kiss her. Yeah, that guy, that greasy, horrible guy, that is brought to her, as one of Buck's customers, and he tries to kiss her, but she beats him to the punch, so to speak. It's like Sleeping Beauty, but a lot more twisted and a lot darker. Ooh, thank you so much, Anno. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Another comment from Anno. They had tragedies like what happened to the Torrances several times before, and I'm sure all to people who shine, whatever that means. Yeah? Shine? This is very interesting. Tankard? Oh, look at this down here. You know I'm going to watch this. I'm going to put this on my watch later. The Ullman Theory, The Shining Manager. Oh, see, I'm not here just to do my own videos. I'm not here just to promote myself. I like seeing stuff and promoting stuff from other good channels. I shout out Tankard. I shout out Exorcist Reviews, Dr. Luke, and Anno Domini too. I don't know whether or not Anno Domini wants me to share his silent movie channel, but let me know. Let me know, Anno, and if you give me the green light, I will. But like I told you, he has a silent movie. I didn't tell you the name of it, so I'm waiting for permission. But I need to watch this. The Ullman Theory. Ooh, it's only 3 minutes long too. Ooh, yes. But yeah, they had tragedies like, they had the Grady tragedy. What else happened there? Are there like shades of other stuff that happened there in the movie that we can't see? And again, Tankard, I want you to pay special attention to this comment because of Tankard is working on a theory. Tankard is a very observant person. I'll just leave it at that. I won't spill the beans. That's those beans are for Tankard to spill when he wants to spill them, not me. But yeah, Anno Domini also writes, oh no, Ullman wants Wendy in those parties in the hotel in the future, but first he has to prepare her for her new job. Yes! Yes! I totally believe that. Like, based on the missing footage, the epilogue footage of the hospital, like that I think I cover in this video. Where is it? Yeah, this. I cover it, yeah. Here. I totally believe that. I totally believe that he's like recruiting Wendy. Like whether or not Jack is dead, which I'm wondering whether or not Jack is dead. I'm wondering whether or not Jack actually freezes in the maze or something else happens. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. I will get on my elliptical trainer tomorrow and think about it some more. But I replied to Anno, I figure, yes, Shelley Duvall was very much of her time. She looked like that late 70s skinny, long-faced, pretty lady. Yeah, they had a type back then, and you saw that type like in every movie, and Shelley Duvall definitely fit that type. Of course, Ullman would want to recruit her. She was very in fashion. Her body type, her face, her hair, her clothes, like she was very much of her time. She would probably fit in now too, because like the late 70s are kind of making a very odd comeback in a very sneaky way. But yeah, she would definitely fit in with all those like women leaving the hotel on closing day. They all had the same build as her. They all had kind of the same aesthetic appeal as Shelley Duvall did. And she, like, in my opinion, she seems a little bit jealous of them and any attention they're getting from Ullman. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I think you're onto something, Anno. Like, yeah, he wants her to in this epilogue, like cut out footage. He wants her to stay with him in Los Angeles. He has a house on the beach. Do you all know how much beachfront property costs in LA? Like to have a house somewhere like in one of the beach cities, right? Manhattan Beach, Hermosa, son of a Hermosa Beach. These houses are not much. I mean, they're okay looking, but they're really not much. I wouldn't want to live in one personally because they're just so. They're kind of. I don't know what word to use. They're kind of cramped, but they're like right on the beach or like definitely within walking distance of the beach. And they're like millions and millions and millions of dollars, like 18, 20, probably more than that. But at this point, like this is when I was looking at listings like a couple of years ago, before all of this inflation shit started happening. $18 million for some like nice but nothing to write home about house near the beach or on the beach or whatever in Hermosa. Like, I can't believe it. And like, yeah, beachfront property has always been expensive, and that's where Ullman lives in LA, on the beach. Seriously. So this guy makes some good ass money doing whatever he does at the Overlook. He's in his role as manager. He makes some serious bank that he used to buy a beachfront house in, he says, Los Angeles. You know, is that in Malibu? Is that in one of the beach cities? I don't know. I really don't know. But, you know, of course he would want to recruit her. He's a procurer. Anno says, definitely going to check those videos. Cool. Thank you, Anno. Steve M. I never read anything about Stanley's sense of humor. Interesting. Neither have I. But I'd love to think that he knew that the Apollo 11 sweater could lead people into incorrect theories, and he decided to leave it in the movie to troll people. That is one possibility. Yeah, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say no, because it might very well be true. Juzu writes, Stanley had a great sense of humor. Although Apollo 11 footage is 100% faked, there's really not one law of physics correct in the alleged mission. Interesting. Okay. The simplest thing to spot this is to look how dust is moving from moon rover tires as they spin. There should be 100% parabolic trajectory for the dust in a vacuum, but it slows down midair and forms a cloud. 100% filmed in dense atmosphere. There's just massive amount of these impossible physics in the mission, impossible math, falsified mission reports that claim wrong payloads. This is what made the mission impossible in the first place. Sure, there's many other things as well, but physicists said already in the 60s that the mission is impossible because the payload would require a 10 times larger rocket, probably actually much more as the weight of the structures increased as well, though you get to drop those after the initial boost sequence, because when you increase the payload even a tiny amount, it explodes in need for extra fuel. I didn't know that. I didn't know. Oh, this. Okay. I am not going to solve this Apollo 11 thing. I don't have that kind of power. I don't have that kind of, like, intelligence. But this is a serious debate. And people on both sides of this debate, they make good points. That's why it's so hard for me to, like, make a decision. I don't know. I just don't know. But thank you for your contributions here, Juzu, and of course you too, Steve M, and Anno Domini, and Boxy, and everybody. Wildstar Productions, yep, the ball that rolls toward Danny while he's playing with his pink trucks is also pink. See, that's why I think I mentioned in this script here that Ullman rolls, is it a yellow ball? Towards Danny. Ay, come on. Come on. It's at the very end of the scene. Oh, Danny. Yeah. Oh, Danny, I forgot to give you this. Catch. He throws a yellow ball to Danny. Okay. So, Wild Star. Yeah, that ball that rolls toward Danny while he's playing with his pink truck is also pink. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And MF says, I have two different copies of The Shining. In one version, the ball is pink. In the other, it is yellow. Oh, you all. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. I don't know what to think. This is like a lot. Uh, Wildstar is replying to MF. I had wondered if maybe the ball's color was yellow. There is a lot of pink and orange in the scene where Danny is playing with his trucks on the overlooks grand carpet. Perhaps there was color casting, which could make the ball look slightly pink, even though it's yellow. Look closely at Danny's little toy set, and you will see a pink bulldozer and other oddities. And MF replies, yes, exactly. It had me looking for pink in every scene for a while, wondering what it meant, lol. Okay, so I'm not the only person to, like, go through this movie with a fine-tooth comb. That makes me feel a little bit better. I'm not disturbed like Chuck said I am. Oof. Tankard is, so you guys, thank you for coming in the comments section. I appreciate this so much. Yeah, so like something's going on with that ball. It's important. It's important. We see Jack throwing a tennis ball in the Colorado Lounge when he's like kind of, I don't know what to call that. He's acting like a child. And then he throws it down the hallway. And then we see the ball in front of room 237. Danny's playing with his trucks. And then we see the ball. Or we don't see it, but it's in the cutout scene in the hospital. It's a yellow ball. What is going on? Okay. I don't know what to think anymore, you guys. Tankard. Nice to see John Kim on it. Yeah. Oh, this horrible computer of mine. Thoughts about the moon landing theory. Okay. Oh, Lord. Okay, cool. Thoughts about the moon landing theory. The possible fake moon landing came from Peter Hyams, the writer and director from Capricorn 1, 1977. In the early 70s, we have Watergate, and people were coming up with crazy government conspiracy theories, and there are many spy thrillers, anti-James Bond, during the 1970s. Did Stanley Kubrick really fake the moon landing and use The Shining to tell people? That's like if you believe Paul McCartney died, and the rest of the Beatles kept making music, and they were hinting that Paul died. I do believe that the Beatles were inserting the Paul died rumor joke in their songs because it was a fun thing to do at the time, a harmless joke. Interesting. As for Stanley, for him to fake the moon landing and be successful about it, that would mean that Russia was in on the conspiracy. Oh, I don't know. I think you're right. Yeah, because like Russia would have to be in on it. I don't see that as a possibility because U.S. and Russia was in the Cold War. Okay, they would know if the signals were coming from the moon. Oh my! But basically, what you're saying, Tankard, is like Russia would have exposed the U.S. in a heartbeat if they had faked the moon landing. Like they would have been like, no. They're lying. Okay. I think that's what you mean. Also, to note that in 2001, they found the monolith underground. Before the moon landing, scientists believed that there were several feet of dust, loose dirt. The theory was that the moon, without a strong gravity and almost no atmosphere, the debris on the moon were collected but not infused into the ground. The theory assumed that the rocket lands on the moon would sink several feet into, because like basically it's sand or like quicksand or something like that. Okay, that's why when you see the moon landing rocket, you'll see these bowls on the feet. Interesting. before the actual moon landing, NASA had launched several rockets to the moon and landed them. They did have data and information before putting the astronauts at risk. While they landed on the moon, they did a few things in setting up the camera before doing the televised walk. So when they did that one step for mankind, they were reenacting it for the TV broadcasts. What? What? Oh, this is, my goodness. My goodness. You know what, you guys? This is making me want to do another like Twilight Zone episode review or like analysis or whatever. In addition to like, I want to do a Sean Report analysis and like non-alcoholic beverage analysis. Like, oh, see, you give me these great ideas for videos. Am I ever going to get around to it? I don't know. But thank you, Tankard, for this comment. This is very interesting. Yeah. Why did Stanley include moon landing stuff in The Shining? We don't know. Got to remember the Star Wars 1977 made space huge. It's possible that Stanley was using the fashion. It's possible that the rocket sweater could imply something adult, although I'm thinking simply something adult. Interesting. The ending, I do agree, it gives away the movie. And it's also not part of the book. More proof that the movie is not part of the book. Nope. This is Stanley Kubrick's movie. Okay? This is Stanley Kubrick's movie, not Stephen King's book. I repeat, this is Stanley Kubrick's movie, not Stephen King's book. That's what you need. Learn it and know it. I'm kind of like losing a little bit of patience with people who don't like The Shining because it's not, it doesn't adhere faithfully to Stephen King's book. It's not supposed to. It was never meant to. Okay? This is no. No, and I've discussed why I believe believe this before. I think Stanley Kubrick like purposely chose mediocre writers. I just do. For like the outline. He used their novels for the outlines of his, scripts for his movies. But he chose mediocre writers. And then he just butchered their novel and just took what he needed to do the skeleton or the framing or the outline of his script. And the rest is history, right? And I think he did this with The Shining. He did it with Full Metal Jacket. I think he did it also with Eyes Wide Shut. Probably a couple more of his movies too. We shall see. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. The ending. Oh, what, did I already? Oh yeah, proof that the movie is not part of the book. Right. Why remove it? Good question. Maybe we'll talk about it when you hit towards the ending of the movie. Yeah, like why would he remove that? The official story, and I think maybe even he said it himself somewhere, was that like he tested the ending with an audience and like the way the audience reacted to that ending, like he wasn't happy with it and that's why he removed it. I don't know though. I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, there's plenty to talk about there. I enjoy Kill Bill. Unfortunately, I have a hard time with Quentin Tarantino's success. Let's see. Funny, long, and interesting story. Back in 95, 96, during my depression years, school full-time and work 35 hours a week. Wow. I was basically depressed. I picked up Quentin script book, Pulp Fiction, and used it to guide me in writing my first script, Blaze of Glory. It's like Apocalypse Now meets Blade Runner meets Mad Max meets Alien Nation. Interesting. And in 1999, I was able to pitch the script to 10 different film studios. They actually requested a copy of the script, which was cool, but at the time, I'm printing and mailing it, so it was costly on my end. Yeah, the 90s. We didn't have email back then. One of the studios was Lionsgate. Anyway, I had a 30-minute conversation with the director, and he was looking for a ghostwriter. I told him I'll think about it and asked the internet for help, and they said I'll be blacklisted for ghostwriting, so I passed on the project, a mistake I often regret. Anyway, during that 30-minute conversation, this director kept talking about Quentin Tarantino. He thought it was funny how he sold scripts of Talking Heads, and that ended up being rewritten. Natural Born Killers is a remake of Badlands, 1973. He also believed that Quentin was having... Oh my god. Woo, y'all. We got some tea. We got some tea up in here. He also believed that this director told you this? Holy crap. Oh my goodness. Okay, this director, who obviously for I think obvious reasons you will not name this person, but he also believed that Quentin was having an affair with Harvey Keitel's wife, or that the three were sexually like a throuple. Oh, good heavens. So, oh my god. That tea is just like mind-blowing. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you, Tankard. You spilled the tea. I love it. Sorry, every time I see or think of Quentin Tarantino, it reminds me of that 30-minute phone call. We're gonna have to have a conversation about this in the DM. I need to know more. I do feel that deep down Quentin did sleep his way, till he got Reservoir Dogs made. Wow. This is interesting. Like I said, I'm gonna be hitting you up in the DMs on Twitter. Lord Jesus. And with that, like that's my second segment of this. Oh my god, yes, this is gonna be at least a 2-hour video. My rum break video. Wildstar Productions writes, here is an interesting tidbit that is from the Stephen King book. At one point, Jack has told his son the story of Bluebeard. Bluebeard? Really? Obviously, Stanley cut that out. But much to Wendy's horror, she admonishes her husband for telling Danny about Bluebeard's closet full of beheadings. Later on, Danny asks his mom about red rum and whether that was Bluebeard's favorite beverage. Oh, thank you, Wildstar. Thank you so much. This was after Danny had a vision from Tony that concerned the word red rum. Danny wonders if it's red rum, or red rum. I cannot say that my synopsis is exactly perfect, but that is what I remember from the novel when I read it in 1984. Initially, I became interested in reading The Shining as a way to explain the movie better. That didn't help, but King has some interesting sub-stories sprinkled throughout his book. Oh, good. So when I was like, this is in response to my video about rum break concerning The Shining. What the hell is red rum? And in this video, I go through like a history, kind of an abbreviated history, but a history of rum. Okay, and I leave several links in the description, and there is such a thing as red rum. It's called red rum, and I don't know if it's exclusive to Australia, but they have a class or a category of rum that is red rum. There's gold rum, there's white rum, there's dark rum, there's red rum. And red rum, I think, is in Australia, where they had the Rum Rebellion. Lord. And now here we go. Thank you, Wildstar Productions, connecting it to Stephen King's book about... I didn't know any of this because it's not in the movie. And I'm kind of stubborn. I'm not going to read the novel. I'm just not. I just don't want to. But a mention of Bluebeard, and then Danny asks, was red rum Bluebeard's favorite? And Bluebeard, killed... Was it Bluebeard who killed all those women? Were the beheadings, were they beheadings of women, if I remember the story correctly? That's interesting. Very interesting. You're right, this is interesting. Thank you, Wildstar. John, how you doing? Joshua de la Cruz. I have no attention span. Can't get through the intro. Okay, Joshua. Bye. Again, don't come back. If you don't like it, you don't have to be here. Later. Jennifer, Phillips. This was so interesting. Looking forward to the next one. Thanks so much, Jennifer. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Juzu. Nelson's blood. Barry Nelson equals Stuart Ullman. Okay. Steward is a kind of steward, which is steward in many languages, maritime connection, and also Ullman being the steward for the real owners of the Overlook. You make a damn good point. Juzu. Who are the real owners of the Overlook? It's not Stewart. He's the manager. And like I talked about in another video about the Orlando Museum scandal, like the director of the museum, he is not the top of the totem pole. No, there's the board of directors. And they're not even the top of the totem pole. There's somebody who they answer to. So, like, who's the owner of this hotel? It's not Stewart. It's not Bill Watson. I don't know. Like, I don't think Bill Watson is an owner because, like, Stuart Ullman orders him around. So, I don't know. Who really owns this hotel? Overlook is USA, among other things, and Ullman is JFK. I don't know about that. Maybe. Possibly. I have to think about it. Yes, he's wearing red, white, and blue. But so is Wendy. So is Danny. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about that one. So in that sense, Nelson's blood connects to the blood of the USA has spilled. Maybe. Possibly. I never could have imagined that actually red rum could be about red rum. In Twin Peaks, which is so much connected to The Shining, it morphs as Red Room, the waiting room, Black Lodge. Also, the word red as Russian has some interesting meaning, as the backwards letters are Russian letters. And there are lots of Russian literature in the closest cabinet to the door, but I just can't get it in my head at the moment. I never thought about that, because I don't know the Cyrillic alphabet, Juzu. But that is something to think about. Those backwards R's or whatever, I don't know what's going on. Like, is that the Cyrillic alphabet? I don't know. There are lots of word plays in Kubrick films, kind of treasure hunts to be discovered for additional information. Yes. So thank you for reminding that. Yeah, I love it. I love the fact that people, hopefully they're taking my videos as an opportunity to like explore their own ideas and branch out and expand on their own ideas. Like this Cyrillic alphabet thing. Never thought of it. Thank you, Juzu. There's a lot of stuff going on. So, Ash, I got a whole 2 batches of cookies done while listening. That is awesome, Ash. Thank you. I think you wrote this like during Christmas season, so it was cookie baking time. So I'm glad I could help. I really am. Anno, the red rum horse has a grave and statue. Oh, yeah, he does. He was very, very, very popular. I didn't know that a horse could be that popular, but there you go. Another one from Anno, had no idea about the history of rum. Neither did I. No clue. No clue at all. I thought it was just like a thing from The Shining. I was wrong. And thank you for the comments, Anno. Jennifer, hello, Jennifer, writes, thank you for these. I do look forward to them as you really go in depth with things and your ideas. Looking forward to listening. I relate about all of the Christmas stuff that we have to do. Yep. It is a lot, and it is nice to stop and take a rum break every once in a while. Absolutely. I'm so glad that's over. I mean, it's nice and everything, but exhausting. Thank you, Jennifer. Tankard of Tales, awesome as I thought. John Kim is on the attack. Yes, he is. Great video. Thank you, Tankard. And thank you, John, too. Hello again, John. Jerry, or Gary. I don't know how to pronounce this. A new Shining video so soon after the previous one. Guess whose day you just made, Miss M. You're welcome, Jerry. Regarding red rum, to me it's a metaphor for a child's mind attempting to comprehend the horror of murder. Maybe. This horror is so unbearable that a child's mind is unable to even accept the very word murder. Interesting. So Danny sees murder the way his young innocent mind allows him to in order to protect itself. This is a possibility. This might, you don't, has anybody ever solved the red rum mystery? Like, why does he write it backwards? Why does he write it with Wendy's lipstick? Why is it red? Like, he uses lipstick that's red. He red rum in red letters with Wendy's lipstick that we never see her wear. And then it's reflected in the mirror as murder. Has anybody ever solved that part of the mystery in The Shining? I don't think so, but you never know. Maybe one of us will do it. Who knows? Juzu. But here it's written by Tony, which kind of is Danny's other persona. But the way Tony took control, calls Wendy Mrs. Torrance, all of that seems that he is not controlled by the child's mind in that sense. Also, Danny knows all about cannibalism as he saw it on TV. What else has he seen, as nobody seems to control what he is watching? Good point, Juzu. I think Danny is kind of like the kid in The Omen. Oh dear. You really think so? Damien? Oh no, I don't know. Damien? I don't know what to think of Damien. Does Damien know who his father is? And his mother, for that matter. I don't know. But you think he's far from innocent. Okay. Or it depends, again, on what the subtext we are looking at. I think we should take Grady's word. Your son has a great talent. I think you are not aware of how great it is. Interesting. But I think it might be one of these situations where evidence is purposely made to support many interpretations. As I also like the idea of Danny not handling the situation and his mind mixing it up. Okay. There are lots of dialogue in this film, and in Kubrick films in general, where it's Kubrick talking to us. I love that idea. I really love that idea. Another example, there's a crazy woman in one of the rooms. No, really, I swear it's the truth. Is Stanley saying that Wendy is speaking the truth? The crazy woman is she. Danny walked into the bathroom. As the door was open, there was a woman in the bathtub. She tried to strangle Danny. Wow. Which room was it? Asks Jack, which is a direct question for the audience, as this is what happened in the boulder most likely. You're making me think about something. Juzu. I'm having a thought right now, and I would not be having that thought if it wasn't for your comment. So I'm going to save that for when I get to that part of the movie. I'm going to keep that in my mind. But wow. I'm going to keep it to myself until it's time to reveal it. But thank you so much. When I read all of this paragraph right up until here, which room was it? Something happened in my brain and a light went on. Okay. Which room was it? Asks Jack, which is a direct question for the audience, because she doesn't tell him. It's room 237, but Jack asks, which room was it? Okay. Which is, as this is what happened in the boulder, most likely. Okay. There's someone in the bathtub, and the rubber ducky has been transferred to Danny's room. Oh. Danny wasn't brushing his teeth. Dopey sticker is missing. Danny is holding his crotch. I don't know about that. I don't remember that part. But okay. And the doctor is most likely Wendy's imagination, as her rambling makes no sense. Huh. Oh boy. Also, illness as metaphor, paper in the living room, and basket and case in the center of the shot. Russian doll twins above Wendy's head. Picture of twins on the wall when Doctor and Wendy come from Danny's room. Oh my God. I'm rambling. It happens with Kubrick. Okay, Juzu. This is amazing. This is an amazing analysis here. And I'm going to keep this in mind. I'm going to try to remember to come back to your comment when I get to that part of the movie. Illness as metaphor, paper in the living room. Wow. Oof. This is crazy. This is crazy. And like extremely intriguing and interesting. You've given me plenty to think about. Plenty to think about. But like I said, when I get to that part of the movie, I'm really gonna get into this. Anyway, hello again, John Kim, and there we go. There we go. That's it for this this video. Yeah, you guys are amazing. I'm blown away at how amazing you guys are. Here's this one. Run Break the Shiny. Did you know about the ray gun? The ray gun thing just totally like messed with my head. So John Kim. Okay, Dave's art room. Sure, it evolved. That was the camera beside Dan. Okay. Possibly. I I'm not discounting what you're saying, Dave's art room. I just don't know what to think, really. Is it a ray gun? Is it some kind of viewing device? I'm not sure anymore, which unsettles me, but at the same time, I'm kind of okay with it. I don't know. Thank you for the comment, Dave's art room. I appreciate it. And where are you? There you are, Dave's art room. Yes, thank you. Anno Domini. Haven't seen that Tumblr, but I found a shining blog called Yep. Johnny's 53 with 2007/2008 posts only, so it's pretty old. Listen. I found it too, Anno. And I mean, I did kind of a shady video about that, about precisely this, about precisely Johnny 53. And I decided to delete that video because I mean, you know me, or you should by now. I like mess. I love mess. I love gossip. I love tea. I sure do. But this was too messy even for me. And I said, no, I can't put that up. But, I don't know how I'm gonna like convey this information or my ideas without being a mess or being messy. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I can't say. I just can't say because I could get into trouble. People might accuse me of like just being a mess channel, and that's not what I want. So I will try. Maybe catch me in the DMs on Twitter. If you want to know what I'm talking about, catch me in the DMs on Twitter. Placeholder 23 definitely. I recall David Lynch at a Q&A saying that older drafts / versions of scripts are that way for a reason, tainted perhaps by a bad idea or two. Lord. Like I said, thank you, placeholder. There is so much I don't know. Like maybe I don't know. Like I guess they want to keep the public guessing, or maybe their competition guessing. I don't know. This is interesting. This is very, very, very interesting. I didn't know that was even possible, but thank you for letting me know, because I am ignorant about a lot of things, so any help is much appreciated. Juzu says, when Jack goes in the interview, there's cabinets in the secretary's room that looks like certain buildings. On top of those, we have a letter scale, and on the front of that, we have a picture of a wave. In the storage room, there's tall piles of cardboard boxes that kind of resemble the same buildings. Oh, wait a minute. What are you talking about, Juzu? I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure. And the top boxes are golden ray boxes. Yep, I remember those. The same patterns are in all of Kubrick's films 2001 and onward. Okay, so I'm getting the idea that, like, from the movie 2001 and onward is like Kubrick trying to assemble us like a very large, complicated message to his audience. That's what I'm getting from this, and I'm here for that. I'm totally on board with that. Certain design process started in the same year as 2001 production started. Oh Lord, yeah, yeah, got finished the same year as 2001, and on that year the emergency number was changed in the USA. Juzu, Juzu. Uh, I think I know what you mean. Um, Juzu. And anybody listening to this or watching this, I have a very specific theory about what Juzu is alluding to in this comment. I am not going to share that on my channel no matter what. Only one person that I know I have shared this theory of mine with, but that person is special. Jews, I wish I could say what I'm thinking, but I cannot. And if what I'm thinking is true, in relation to your comment here, and Stanley Kubrick, if my theory is right, correct, then Stanley Kubrick is even more awesome than I could ever imagine, than anybody could ever imagine. Okay, I can't say what it is. I can't say what it is. I really can't, because it's just so far out and crazy. But if I'm right, oh my God, if I'm right. But yeah, if what you're saying here and what I'm thinking, my theory, if it's correct, Stanley Kubrick is just wonderful. And I'm very happy to be doing these videos. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to get mushy. Tankard, hello, and thank you for the comment, Juzu. Tankard of Tales, awesome. I'm going to assume that the ray gun ending scene was filmed, but it didn't look good. Possibly. Filming a dark scene sometimes doesn't translate well. Maybe. I don't know what to think about the ray gun thing. Like, who was it? Placeholder? Was it placeholder? No. Anno Domini? No, not Anno Domini. Yeah, Dave's art room. Is it a ray gun? Is it like a telescope thingy? I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'm just so confused. But that would be weird. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine Danny, like, with the ray gun in the maze? That would make him resemble, like, Luke Skywalker, like, way too much, wouldn't it? Like, Danny is Luke Skywalker and Jack is Darth Vader. Maybe, like, maybe that's why Stanley cut it out. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Like, are you getting that image in your head of, like, the showdown between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, and, like, the lightsabers, and, like, Danny's ray gun is like a substitute for a lightsaber. I don't know. God. Anyway, MF, I'm thoroughly enjoying your fresh analysis of this film and look forward to each installment. Thank you, MF. I appreciate it a lot. Rich in Law, no doubt the ray gun is as presented, but it's entirely possible that the script that was given for the airport approval was intentionally misdirected so as not to give away the movie if leaked. Interesting. I didn't ever consider that. That's a very good point, Rich in Law. Stanley was notoriously high security conscious, and it's also doubtful that he would have left a copy with someone as opposed to giving a numbered copy for review and return unless he had utilized disinformation. Ew. This is a good point. Because I didn't even see, I'm just so naive and I don't know anything about this. There's so much that I just simply cannot know because I just can't know it. Because I'm not in the film industry, not even close. So, like, I didn't even consider the possibility that he would have to submit a script to, like, the airport people if he's going to film in the airport. But did he film in the airport, or did he film, like, was that really filmed at Stapleton Airport, or was it, like, filmed on a soundstage? I don't know I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know where I would find that information either. But, like, does he need their permission to even use the name of their airport in his movie? Like, I don't know. I just don't know. But okay, cool. This is good, Rich and Law. This is good. It's giving me even more to think about. Okay, here's John Kim. Oh Lord. Okay, and Juicer Juicer is replying to John Kim. Oh my God. Okay, the timeline of the collaborative project. King's the replacement part. Oh my God. Oh. Lord. Okay, let me see. Oh, sweet mother of pearl. I don't know what to think of this. Juicy Juicy replies, Duvall's career seems to be quite connected with Stanley in weird ways, and obviously has tons of connections with The Shining. Brewster McCloud, her first film, has so much connections to The Shining, and Kubrick's career. Three Women points to Wendy, Winifred, Winnie. Oh, Winifred, Winnie, Freddie. Okay, on McCabe and Machete is more than. Is the whore that comes to live in the hotel/brothel. Oh, Lord, Juzu. The same continues with every actor on Kubrick films. Their previous roles are hugely important part of the story, but so is their personal life. Jack Nicholson, Polanski thing, for example. Shelley Duvall being Ringo Starr's ex. Oh, no. Is it No, it's not Ringo Starr. I mean, I think I know what you mean, Juzu, but I think Shelley was dating, what's his face? Paul Simon, when she was filming The Shining. And then, like, Carrie Fisher came along and stole Paul Simon from Shelley Duvall. Because I could have sworn that was the story. I've never heard of her dating Ringo Starr, but I will have to look that up. Barry Nelson being the first James Bond. He was? I didn't know that. Barry Nelson as Ullman. Barry Dennen as Bill Watson. What's on? Echoing Barry Lyndon. Don't know yet the importance of this. Especially Eyes Wide Shut has lots of hints to other films, books, etc. Kind of like an IMDb treasure hunt. The site was already on when Eyes Wide Shut was filmed, street names being directors, actors, screenwriters connected to a hint of lace, exposing deeper themes of what the film is trying to say. Oh my God. Thank you once again, Juzu. This is very, very informative. I enjoyed it a lot. So many things to think about. Oof. Wow. Wow. Okay, Simon Leventhal. Yeah, your every new video is like a fiesta. Thank you, Simon. Did I say anything? Let me know. Of course, you always come with lots of great ideas. I always watch your videos. Great job. Thank you. Thank you. That is so wonderful for you to say. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And last but not least, this is 66 comments. Oh my God. I am going to have to take a break and come back because I need more coffee and so on and so forth, but I will be back, I promise. This is going to be a long video. And the thing about this video is that this is your guys's comments, okay? I respond to your comments. This is a lot easier for me than writing something out because there's so many of them. But you guys are the ones who are bringing the amazing ideas and the amazing thinking, the theories, the analysis, whatever, in these comments, and it just enriches this whole experience for me and hopefully for you guys too. That's why I do this. Not just because, I'm lazy to write the comment, but because I want everybody to see it. I don't want to just reply to one person and okay, that's wonderful. But I want everybody to know about your guys' wonderful ideas. And I want you to get credit for those ideas, so to speak, because they're wonderful. I will be right back, get a coffee, and I will continue. Sit tight. Be back in a minute. And I'm back. You guys, I just looked at my counter here. I'm at 1 hour and 55 minutes for this video, and that's a lot. I don't think I've ever gone over 2 hours, maybe just a little bit, 2 hours and 1 minute or something, I don't know. And I don't think I want to go over 2 hours for this video. Maybe some of you are listening to this while you're cleaning the house, while you're baking cookies, while you're driving, while you're exercising, whatever. And if you're doing that, thank you. If that's what's going on, that is just awesome. But I cannot torture you for more than 2 hours. I wish I could. But I have a conscience, and my conscience won't let me. So you guys, all the marvelous comments here are just amazing. And I will do probably a separate video for this one, Understanding the Shining Part 9. I'll do another viewer mail. Okay, maybe I'll make it a rum break. I don't know. We shall see. But like I said, I want to do the non-alcoholic beverage video. I want to do the Sean Report video. I want to do, what other thing did I say? I can't even remember. But it took all of my energy and all of my strength to do this because, like I said, I have been just extremely tired lately. I've been I'm talking about myself. Whoever, in one of these comments said that I talk about myself for the first however many minutes of the video. Who is it? Is it this one? Yeah, you. Listen, buddy. I'll talk about myself whenever I want to talk about myself. And you could, you got a channel. You got your little channel over here. You could talk about yourself too, if that's what you want to do. The nerve. But, and whoever, if there's any one of you who are trying to get my videos copyright stricken or whatever, stop it. Stop it. All right? And if I suspect something, I'm going to block you. Period. That's all you need to know. Because I'm sick of the bull. But anyway, you guys, I'm going to do a separate video for this one because I think it warrants that. There's look at all these comments. Look at all these comments. I'm going to do a separate video, hopefully a shorter one for the part 9 comments. And Tancred, if I don't forget, I'm going to put up that video that I said I would about. It features Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson, not in The Shining, but outside of The Shining, and I'm going to put that up in my community post. So stay tuned for that, Tancred, and everybody else. So you guys, thank you. I from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you so much for leaving these comments. Thank you so much for being interested in what I'm doing. I doubt myself every step of the way because I just wonder, the comments, the negative comments, they don't really get to me, but it's like, wow, did I hit a nerve? Like, what did I do? What did I do to warrant that kind of unnecessary rudeness? It just boggles my mind sometimes. Like, if you don't like what I'm doing, you don't have to. Cool. And you can respectfully disagree with me, but like, don't be a jerk. Don't be an asshole. You don't have to do that. You really don't. And on top of that, if you think you could do this better than me or somebody else, like, go ahead. What are you waiting for? you you could get yourself a little screen recorder, or if you want people to interact with you, you could do a live video on YouTube. Definitely, you can do that. I don't do live videos. I don't have that kind of time. I don't have that kind of organization because, again, during the daytime, no. Especially not this past month. No way. And February, like I said, is going to get even worse. My God. But, thank you so much, all of you, for watching, listening, commenting. I appreciate it so much. So you guys, once again, new viewers, thank you for being new. Returning viewers, thank you for returning. Subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing. I know I only have like 331 of you, but I appreciate each and every one of you a great deal. And of course, all of you, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you know somebody who would enjoy this. And until my next video, which is probably going to be, I'm going to pick up with the viewer mail for part 9. I'll find that and more reasons to talk at you. Like I said, I really want to do a part 10 soon for this Understanding the Shining series. I want to continue with my Kill Bill stuff. Yeah, next chapter 4 for Kill Bill is the next video. I really want to do another Hunter video. I want to do some more rum breaks because I know there's more info out there. I really want to do a shade video, but my conscience is saying no, don't do it. I want to do more videos like this. I just got to figure out how to avoid copyright claims. I would love to upload more silent movies and more just classic movies and videos, but again, YouTube is just getting on my last nerve lately. So there's that. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much once again. I appreciate it so much. And until the next time I find yet another reason to talk at you, I will go ahead and bid you bye-bye. So, bye-bye, everybody.